Definitely, we saw the first revolution of Indonesian tech sector, right? The gigantic tech companies initiate the birth of large e-commerce or marketplace and large ride-hailing. But the way I see this marketplace and ride-hailing is that they are digitalizing the merchants first. Maybe in the case of marketplace, they are digitalizing the online shops and online travel agents. In the case of e-commerce giant and OTA giants. In the case of ride-hailing, they are digitizing the taxi and the execs. And then once those merchants are digitalized, they can start accepting cashless payment. That actually finally bring a lot more users to start adopting internet finance and internet payment as well. We also believe that the next wave of revolution will happen in this offline restaurant and offline kirana store or mom and pop shop that we call warungs in Indonesia. That's what Payvas have been focusing in the last 5 years, right? How we can digitalize as many offline warungs and offline restaurant as possible, so that one day we can turn them into like cashless merchants. In the same way you see today, GoPay was used to pay offline taxis and ojeks that was offline and very cash-centric before. And we see Shopee Pay, and then Traveloka Pay was used to pay for online shops and online travel agents. That's what we also expect to see in the future. Our ecosystem will consist of offline merchants like restaurants and warung, tied to their customer base. They are sticky, and we're going to start to transform their way of payment from the offline cash-based payment into internet-based payment. So we can realize our vision of increasing the GDP of internet payment and internet finance in Southeast Asia.
There's one misconception is that it's done. There's no more innovation left to be made in this space. We do feel that the first wave of innovation in PropTech was necessary. So that was the 6 to 10 years ago when the first wave of online portals player transform and elevate the industry with the listing portals platform. But then fast forward 6-10 years, we haven't seen big breakthrough, especially in Indonesia, big breakthrough innovation. And that was until last year. And we believe that the next sets of innovation will be around transactions. It's about owning not just the supply side, but actually owning the demand side and matching the supply and demand together.
Definitely feel this digitization of the micro merchants out there is inevitable. It will happen. The issue is, well, who's going to figure it out? Because I think SaaS adoption is tough in Indonesia. And this is why you see that a lot of the Chinese business models simply didn't work in Indonesia. The user base is very different. This, I think, is where our approach is a little bit more nuanced. We leverage the supply relationships that we've achieved by building fairly large supplier network out there. We're providing our suppliers with a lot of SaaS solutions that's in a way driven by the lending. But this is not the first time anyone's tried to put some kind of SaaS solution into the downstream supply chain. Many have tried. All the major principals, even some of the major banks have all tried, and essentially it's all failed because tech adoption is extremely difficult in Indonesia. And that's why we really lead in with low-cost working capital. Everybody needs that in this particular segment. And it's the lending that actually pulls the SaaS adoption at this supplier level. And that's how we build our supplier network. And from there, a lot of these suppliers have very tight relationships with their customers. These are like the micro merchants. And this relationship is what we leverage because there's already trust established there. The micro merchants listen to their suppliers. And when we offer a much better way for the suppliers to operate, essentially digitizing a lot of their orders, where historically a merchant would write an order by hand, messy handwriting, maybe photograph that using WhatsApp, and then send it to the supplier. Now it's all essentially digitized through an app. So that simplifies a lot of the fulfillment functions that happens at the supplier. It runs through our POS system that we also provide to the suppliers. And the synergy there is, well, all that data starts coming into our system. It makes those customers bankable. Those micro merchants that were historically simply not bankable due to lack of any kind of credit history data or any kind of digitized transaction data, be it bank transfers or anything like that. Now, all of a sudden, through our Tonight, become able to access the low-cost bank capital that we deploy through our platform.
So, even pre-pandemic, we saw the fact that online deliveries were on a rise. There's some sort of extra jump or adoption that we have all seen, but that's not purely due to the pandemic. It would have eventually any which way happened. And it's just a catalyst. Pandemic just played the catalyst role. In terms of the cloud kitchens, I would want to clearly distinguish dishserve from this cloud kitchen debate, because dishserve is a network of ghost kitchens, which is very different from traditional cloud kitchens. So I feel that in the growing Indonesian food landscape, cloud kitchens would continue to grow as more and more F&B brands would need more and more central kitchens or a ready infrastructure, a ready-to-use infrastructure where they could come in and cook and so on and so forth. However, to get neighborhood level access or the last mile distribution network, the only available option at this point of time is dishserve. So while cloud kitchens offer a full service stack to these F&B players to come in and cook, dishserve is more like a ghost kitchen network, which is more like a plug and play, a heat assemble package kind of a shop for these brands. So I feel that both these models would continue to expand, grow and thrive in the years to come. And this is irrespective of the pandemic.
It's super fun working in the Indonesian market, right? When I was in the Netherlands, everything is just set in stone. You have the suppliers, and then you have the distributors, and then you have the retailers, and that's it. That's the only chain that's there. And it's governed by like the government so that there's no monopoly, and everyone is just so set in stone. But in Indonesia, like anything can go, right? Anything goes. And we have a lot of suppliers. We have local suppliers. We have a village here in East Java that produces their own rice, and they call their rice a greedy catfish or something. But it works wonders in that area. We work together with the local rice producers, right? And so, because what we figured out in Indonesia, the market is that it's fragmented. There are suppliers that's working with us because they have a problem with distribution, and so they can't distribute their goods to tier 3, tier 4 cities. And then there are suppliers that's already in tier 3 and tier 4 cities, but then they want to introduce a new product. They want to diversify their products. Because I'm gonna go ahead with one of the examples that one of our suppliers has the problem of 80% of their sales is only coming up from 20% of their channel. Their bargaining power towards their distributor is very much on the losing end on that deal. So they would really like to diversify their distribution channel much more. And so that's where we come in, and then we start opening up this new channel to tier 3, tier 4 cities and whatever. And then we have the same case of problems with a supplier that's 80% of their GMV is reliant on only their top 3 products. So they need to diversify the products, right? And so we come in there as well.